It's great to be in Lawrence. So Kim and I are really happy to be here, to be with terrific legislative partners. We were celebrating the Protect Act yesterday, which is a public safety bill. It's about protecting our communities, including our immigrant communities. And so it's great to be back together today. But you know what? We talked about the things that we're working on as an administration, the things that we've been working to deliver on, building more homes so that people can have lower rents and lower cost of homes. We talked about some of the economic development that we've been trying to drive with apprenticeship programs, supporting small business owners, supporting our entrepreneurs, and what else we need to do. We talked about the challenges, particularly around cost, and how hard everything is. A lot of it because of Trump, because of what he's doing. I mean, his cuts to healthcare, to education, to so much more. And we had a good conversation about the things that we're trying to do to counter all of that to help people here. We talked about gas and electric bills because that's something that we're really working on as a team to try to drive down the cost for people's energy bills. So I think all of these things, I let my Kim speak to things too, but I think it was a good conversation about a lot of the good things that we've been able to do the last 3.5 years and the work that we need to do driving forward to make sure that people have opportunity and that we continue to see growth. Lawrence is a great place. This is a great region. And we want to continue to make the investments that we know work for people here.
There was a lot of talk in 2024 about Trump making gains among Latino voters, cities like Lawrence shifting to the right. How concerned are you about that dynamic as you look to the fall?
Yeah. I think the people of Lawrence should best speak to that.
We're not very concerned about it. I think it was just a one-time deal. And people have realized that what the Trump administration is doing is not looking out for the best interests of our community. So they figure it out. Things are changing. And we thank the governor for everything she has done for our community.
Governor, with the TPS ending right now, a lot of people lost their health insurance and without their status. Is there any consideration to help people getting health insurance even if they don't have any legal status?
Well, I think the TPS. What's happened is so sad. It's heartbreaking, and it's terrible for these individuals, these people who lose their TPS status. It's terrible for their families, and it's also terrible for our economy. We have 45,000 TPS holders in Massachusetts who are affected by this, and a lot of them, they're working in construction. They're also working in healthcare themselves, taking care of people in their homes, working in our nursing homes, our hospitals, and so it just makes no sense that Trump is taking these people away and taking their jobs away and taking their livelihoods away. So it's bad for the country. It's certainly bad, to see that happen here in Massachusetts. And we're going to continue to call on the United States Senate to take action to pass a law that will actually extend and restore TPS rights.
Okay, Kelly, any question?
Great to see you, Governor. Maintaining an open line of communication with the Portuguese-speaking and the Latinos is something that has built trust, and it's very important in a state that nearly a third of the population is of that background. Historically, those communities have not always had the same kind of relationship with the state government. Can we count that this communication will carry through, assuming and counting that you're going to be reelected, that this communication line will continue?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that I like our colleagues to speak to this. You can say how good we've done or bad we've done or whatever, but I'd say this. Coming in, we established a Latino Empowerment Council. We use the word empowerment intentionally because Latinos are our fastest growing population in Massachusetts. They are our teachers, our entrepreneurs, our business owners. They drive so much of the economic engine of this state. We had a Latino Empowerment Council. I don't know if our co-chair, Josiana Martinez, is still here, but we asked, what are the things we need to do? They came forward with recommendations. We've implemented a number of those recommendations. We continue to stay on top of this, and we'll look to find ways to support in education, in housing, in economic development, to support our Latino community, which is very important to the growth and the success of Massachusetts. I don't know if Secretary Matias is here, but obviously Secretary Juana Matias is doing a fantastic job leading housing and livable communities, which is a really important thing for our state as we look to build out more housing and lower costs. But you know, we're just going to continue with the work, and I'm grateful for the partnerships that we've had, you know, including with so many folks in this room.
Yeah, we've got 3 new Brazilian legislators we work with closely on that Latino Empowerment Council. We were just with Juanita yesterday with the Protect Act. The Brazilian Workers Association has just been a tremendous partner on so many fronts. So I think you'll see that continue to grow and flourish. We're gonna need it more now than ever. And folks are hurting with TPS status going away. Those collaborations and the strengthening of those is more important than it's ever been.
We appreciate it.
Buenas tardes, señora gobernadora. Mi nombre es Altagracia Maggi. Estamos aquí en nombre de En Contraste Radio Show. Mi pregunta es acerca de la protesta de la legislación que usted acaba de firmar. Mi pregunta es si esto a usted no le preocupa el hecho de la seguridad, la relación que va a tener el federal con el estado ahora mismo.
Hi, I'm Altagracia. I'm on behalf of En Contraste. I want to ask about Protect Act. And the question is, are you worried about the relationships between the state and the federal government because of this?
The Trump administration has been about tearing communities apart, you know, going into neighborhoods, tearing families apart, tearing communities apart. He's wrecking the economy, and I think, you know, at the state level, we're trying to stand here and protect our communities, to protect our people, to protect our businesses and our economy and our way of life. And it hasn't been easy. You know, Donald Trump cut $1 trillion from healthcare. And we at the state level are saying, no, we got to find a way to make sure that people continue to have access to healthcare. You know, ICE, we know, ICE has been, and I say this as somebody who was formerly law enforcement, what ICE is doing is so wrong. It's so wrong, and it's hurting so many. And the Protect Act was about making sure that our little kids can go to school and get an education, that people can go to the doctors and go to the, you know, healthcare clinic and go get the care that they need. I want people to be able to go to church and worship and feel safe. You know, these are the things that we have to do now because of what Donald Trump is doing to us. And so I feel like there's a lot of solidarity in Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, we look out for each other, we take care of each other. We want to see everybody and every family feel safe in their community and have opportunity and success, and their young people have success. And there's a lot of solidarity in that, but the work is going to have to continue because of what Donald Trump is doing. And November really matters. This election really matters because Massachusetts is going to have a choice. Are you going to have a governor and an administration that is going to continue to stand for people here in the state and protecting our residents, protecting our communities? Or are you going to have a governor who's going to just be a rubber stamp for Donald Trump, who's pro-ICE, who's pro-tariff, you know, who supports what Donald Trump has been doing that has not been helpful to Americans, has not been helpful to the American economy, and certainly hasn't been good for Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
He has another question.
¿Cómo usted garantizará su gobierno, su administración, cómo garantizará que esta ley de verdad sea aplicada en los diferentes municipios?
Are you going to guarantee that this law is implemented and enforced?
The law is passed thanks to the legislature. I signed it yesterday. The law is the law, and absolutely it will be enforced. And if Donald Trump tries to challenge the law, he's going to lose in court.